right, guys, so I'm going to try something extremely brand new to myself, and we're going to do something called rapid fire data analysis, and it's exactly like it sounds. And that is me firing away on all cylinders here and showing you exactly where the problem is for a very specific item and moving on to the next one and making some small videos here. So give me your feedback down in the comment section below if this is something you want to see more of, or if I am completely wasting my time on you guys watching these videos. So let's jump into it. You see a screen full of squiggles here, as you should with service checker data. And what the heck are we looking at? This is a friend of mine reached out, said he's lost a compressor, 2 compressors. Actually, this machine has probably eaten an unknown number of compressors like a lot of ERF systems do. And the data doesn't make any sense. And the reason it doesn't make any sense is because there is a lot to digest here. This is a triple module VRV3 system. And so all I'm doing now is populating the information that I see fit, that makes sense to me, that my brain processes. Maybe not the way you guys would do it, but here we go. All right, eating compressors, right? What eats compressors more than not? Liquid refrigerant compression, right? Liquid refrigerant making it back to the compressor. And you say, well, in heating mode, at ambient temperatures of 28 degrees, it's fairly cold where this person is at, it's kind of hard to find where liquid might be coming from. You're dealing with elevated head pressure control. You're dealing with low suction pressure. You're dealing with low suction temperatures. And so sometimes it can be extremely misleading as to where the liquid might be because of these low ambient conditions. And a lot of times you see things that don't make sense because, again, the ambient conditions, if a coil's not operating, we might find that, hey, those sensors are actually the same as ambient. It's not actually liquid refrigerant coming back. So, all right, first thing, rapid fire. Here we go. Discharge temperatures. All compressors are running right now. And let's start. Master module, discharge temperature, 107. Standard temperature, 105. Really low. That's actually a 3-degree discharge superheat. Okay, what about my other modules? Well, I've got 152 here, and I've got 152 here. Well, that tells me, well, first of all, back it up there. We have a standard and inverter temperature readout on our master module. Okay, so we know that this is a larger size cabinet, probably a REM Q120. This one here, we have only an inverter, no actual standard, because it's 32. 32 is a no value. And then the same thing for my last module, only inverter. So this tells me this is an REM Q120 paired with 2 72s or possibly 2 96s. Both have the same type of compressor and the same type of module. But that's not what we're here to talk about. It's the discharge temperatures, 152 and also 152. These are solid discharge superheats on both the sub 1 module and the sub 2 module. This tells me that if I have a 3-degree discharge superheat on both inverter and sub compressors in my master module, the issue is isolated to my master module. This is where my liquid compression is taking place. Okay, now how do we find out after that, right? So we've been able to eliminate out of the 3 modules which module it is. And it only took us 3 minutes. And there's a lot of fluff in there before that. Let's keep moving. Okay, what else do we have here? Well, okay, if discharge superheat's low, then that means I'm compressing liquid. What does my suction superheat look like? Well, if I have 14 degrees here and I have a saturation of 12, that's a 2-degree suction superheat. Here is the fun part, the interesting part. Look at these waves. Do you see this purple line? I'm going to populate it off and on, off and on, off and on. These waves, as you see here, erratic behavior up and down. Now, these are every 60 seconds, every minute. They watched my last video and realized you should only record for 1 minute at a time. These waves up and down means that liquid refrigerant is surging back to my outdoor unit. Ooh, there's that word, surge. It's going up, and then it's going back down, and then it's going up, and then it's going back down. And again, that's because liquid refrigerant is bypassing somewhere. Now, if this was liquid refrigerant at a constant coming down the suction line, which it wouldn't be because we're in parallel mode, which is a mode we kind of skipped over there. If liquid refrigerant was coming down my suction line, where's it going to go? It's going to go to all 3 modules. Now, it's going to hit my master module first. However, my sub-modules would also be affected. And is that the case? Suction temp is 21. And here we have 19. It is the case. So I am also getting liquid refrigerant from inside. However, this is the concerning part that I found in a short amount of time. It is the actual outdoor heat exchanger. So if we look at these surges, these ups and downs, these waves and crests in this particular data set, it shows me that when my outdoor expansion valve is at 0 pulses, and we're going to jump forward into the next data set spot here, when my outdoor module is at 0 pulses for this particular module, What do we notice? We notice my heat exchanger gas temp is 23, and also my heat exchanger temp is 23, and also my suction temp is 23. Well, wait a minute. If the expansion valve's at 0 pulses, Roman, shouldn't it be at ambient of 30 degrees? And yes, it should be at 30 degrees. However, even at the peaks of when the suction superheat actually gets, decent, where it separates between our actual saturation temperature of our suction line and the suction line temperature, you'll notice here that my heat exchanger gas temp does not change. It's still 23 and 23. Remember, the heat exchanger gas temp means this is leaving my outdoor heat exchanger into my suction line through my four-way valve. 23 degrees and 19.4 degrees, this tells me that I am trickling liquid refrigerant through my outdoor heat exchanger at what? At 0 pulses. So this may not be the exact issue that's wrong with this really, really old dinosaur. However, it is still a problem. This means that even though my valve is 100% closed, I still have liquid refrigerant flowing through the outdoor heat exchanger. So there's two things for rapid fire. We hit discharge temperatures to isolate which module actually has the significant amount of liquid compression, and also how to identify a leak by in the outdoor coil at 0 pulses. Even if it's not the exact issue for this system, you can see how I found it, and so now that needs to be addressed. So whether they change the compressor and we find that the system is overcharged or undercharged, it still has a leaking outdoor expansion valve, and that's how you find that. See you guys in the next one.